You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm my friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. On brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's B. Moses. And tonight, we got a fire show for you, man. I'm excited. I wanted to start off real fast by saying this, dude. I don't know if y'all obviously listened to our intro video, but the song behind it, B. Moses, we appreciate the heck out of you letting us use that song. I love it, man. Every time I hear that come on, dude, I'm back here jamming. I've actually added that song to my workout playlist. So it popped on tonight when I was doing shoulder presses. So it's
a great
official.
workout song.
When you make it on my workout playlist, it's the real deal. It's got to be the real deal. So,
yeah, man, I appreciate y'all playing it, man. It's funny every time I hop on here, I get surprised. Like, oh yeah, that's right, my song is on here.
Yeah. Yo, chat. I know you guys love supporting Buckeye Boys and Buckeye Nation, man. Go get B Moses' song and share it on your social platforms today, just to remind people this thing came out, man. Let's get this thing rolling again, because it's a good song, man. I think it deserves more outreach. It's coming though, man. It's coming for sure. But how you doing tonight, B Moses? How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a long day of just adulting and just doing stuff. And so, I'm glad to just sit down right now and talk some Buckeye football and, you know what I'm saying, wax poetic about our expectations and thoughts and all that other stuff. And just real quick, it's funny, y'all, because, Dev is in Florida and I'm here in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm sure the weather there is marvelous. We are 9 degrees right now. We got dumped on with more snow a couple of days ago. So it's bitter cold here. And I'm sure, I don't know what the weather is there in Florida, Dev. What y'all got?
Nah, dude, I had my shirt off building a fence today in shorts. I think I got sunburnt. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. You know what I mean? It's a little chilly in the morning. It's like 58, 59, a little chilly in the morning. But it's wild because when I first got here to Florida, everybody around me would have sweatshirts on and pants, and I'd be in shorts. And I'd be like, dude, it's nice out. It's like 60 degrees. And I'm like, dude, this is beautiful.
Right.
But, dude, noticing my body's starting to turn more to a Floridian when it's 60. Yeah, I'm getting a little chilly, dude. I'm getting soft here in Florida, man. When it comes to weather,
man.
So I
can't let that happen.
No, bro.
But with that song, one quick thing I want to say about the weather segue is that with the song, we've been trying to collaborate to get the video shot. Like, we're still doing the video, but stuff like getting pounded with snow unexpectedly and this cold weather just makes it a little difficult, because we're going to do some outside shots. Now, I thought it would be dope to do some snow shots, but it's just, we'll see. The point is, it's still coming, but we in Ohio, y'all, so we got to fight this weather off.
Well, check it out, Big Moses. We got a lot of Buckeye fans. There's actually a couple fellow Floridians in the chat right now. I could get a pretty good group together here in Tallahassee. You fly on in. I'll rent us a big old yacht. We'll go out on the sound, dude, out in the ocean, man. Shoot us a video, bro. I'm telling you, dude.
And the thing about it is, I know you're not joking.
No, not at all.
So the temptation is real.
That's 100%. That's a real offer. You come in here. I know the guy to call. I'll rent like a legit yacht, like big time. It'll be sweet. So I know right where to go. But anyway, Donald and Karen Roshbook, thank you so much for the gift and the 5 Buckeye Boys memberships. Dude, our subscriptions have been going off the charts. Not sure what's going on. It's God's got his hand on this channel. I love it. Our views are going crazy, man. So love the family and the culture that we got here on the Buckeye Boys, man. It's awesome to have y'all in the chat, man. Hit that like button if you could for me. Jump in the chat. If you're listening, you've never been in the chat, jump in it, man. Start talking. Every once in a while we pull some chats up on there. Good questions pop up. We'll pull it in. So I've been doing good things, man, but it's the off season. So if you talk around the YouTube world, it gets a little rough coming up with subjects and stuff like that this time of year. But luckily and unluckily for us, a lot of coaching changes have been made. So we're going to start off with that because we still hear a lot of people talking about the defensive coordinator hire on whether they like it or don't like it. I'm still seeing a lot of people not liking it. And the number one reason that I hear, B Moses, I'm sure you'll get into the reason you hear, is that they've heard that he's not a good culture fit. They heard that players don't like him, that he's too demanding, that this and that and this and that. And they always go back to his head coaching experience, right, with the Lions. And that's really what they're pounding on. That's what the experience. And I just think people are missing it. But before I get into my little rant, B Moses, I want to turn it over to you to hear what you got to say on it. I know you're passionate about it. You hit on it on a show over there with Funky on Scoop, but we're not done yet. We got to dive into this a little more and kind of iron some things out here. So what you got, B Moses?
Yeah, man. Basically my frustration with fans and some of our fans is that it just seems no matter what it is, it's like there's something that triggers inside of them that just wants to just dash towards negativity. And because people will try to say, well, just because we don't agree. No, it's not just because we don't agree. I can not agree with you, but still say, you know what, that's logical. I don't quite see it that way, but I understand where you're coming from a logical, factual standpoint. But a lot of these fans I'm seeing, like you said, Dev, a lot of them are pointing to the Detroit Lions stint, him as a head coach. And here's the thing, y'all. I want to kind of paint the picture here, is that if you go back and watch podcasts like Julian Edelman just did a podcast with Matt Patricia not too long ago. It's still on YouTube. It's like chopped up bunch of videos. Very, very dope podcast. I mean, he breaks down scheme. He goes into his philosophy, how he uses personnel. But Julian Edelman still loves Matty P, as he affectionately calls him. You read articles, recent articles, and you see people talking about how much they love Matt Patricia, and it's mostly from the Patriots side. The only negativity that I've seen is from the Lions fans. It's Lions fans. And guess what, y'all? Most Lions fans are what? Scum fans. Now, we got some Ohio State fans that sprinkled in there, and I've heard a lot of heat from them about how much they hate the hire. But again, a head coaching job at one of the worst franchises in history before old boy showed up. I forget his name, the coach. Before he showed up, everybody was trash. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, that's fine, but let's stop acting like Matt Patricia was just the worst thing ever because it didn't work out there. Yeah, it was bad, but he's not coming here to be a head coach. He's coming here to be a coordinator.
Bingo.
And bigger than that, Ryan Day has hired a lot of great coaches, and he's very calculated. He considers our culture. He considers, is he a good fit? Not just with coaches, but with players too. We've seen him say this. We've seen him say, we're not just going to go to the portal and bring anybody in. They have to be a good fit. That goes the same for the coaches. So you mean to tell me that you're going to be upset, throwing tantrums because of the trauma from Detroit and just completely disregard Coach Ryan Day and his ability to discern, to look a man in the eye and say, hey, this is our culture. This is what we expect. Can you produce? Can you abide by this? Like, come on, man. That's what I mean by they don't be thinking. They just be reacting emotionally, and that's what frustrates me.
Yeah. When the hire first went out, it's not a name that I had researched or heard of, but the first thing when I heard it was Matt P., he's won 2 Super Bowls as defensive coordinator. Listen, I know he won 3, but he was an assistant for the first one. He doesn't get credit for that in my book. But so the question is, what kind of defensive coordinator did Ryan Day need? Well, first off, the first year that Ryan Day is an actual CEO, he wins a national title, right? He just hired Brian Hartline as an offensive coordinator, the first-time offensive coordinator, play calling. So Ryan Day might have to have his hands in there a little more. So point being, he needed somebody to come in and run the defense. He needed an experienced, qualified guy. So is Matt P qualified? Now, I've heard a lot of people argue this, and this just blows my mind. I've heard a lot of people say that he was a defensive coordinator under Bill Belichick. So how much credit does he actually get? It's so like, stupid. Come on. Yeah, come on now, y'all. Listen, Bill Belichick was not calling the defensive plays. Go listen to the podcasts from the Patriots players, from everybody that was around the team. They will tell you, he wasn't calling the plays, man. He did what every other head coach would do, what Ryan Day does, and that's hear the game plan, maybe have some input on the overall game plan. But real-time play calling was done by Matt Patricia. So, yes, he is qualified. He is an absolute defensive schematic genius. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's highly sought after. Now, the next problem, people bring up his head coaching stint. B-Mo, just like you brought up. Okay, so there's a difference here. Does a head coach and a defensive coordinator have the same job titles? Do they have the same job responsibilities? No, not at all. They do not, man. So when he was a coach at the Lions, he had to come in and he had to create a culture. Okay, the dude had to come in and revamp everything, okay, and try to create a winning culture. That's not the case here. Ryan Day is the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. He has created a winning culture. A defensive coordinator is not going to come in and change that, man. It's the head coach's job to manage, maintain, and create the culture. Ryan Day has done an absolutely fabulous job at that. He's going to continue doing that. Matt P was hired to come in and help schematically with defense and call the plays on game day. You're still going to have input from Tim Walt, James Laurinaitis, Matt G. All those people are going to come together as a group and come up with the scheme and the game plan, man. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, man. If you're worried about culture with Matt P, eliminate that. That has nothing to do with his job title. He's not gonna have anything to do with it. There was a couple players that weren't happy with Jim Knowles. Right. We heard some stories about Jim Knowles and what he did. Did that affect the culture? No, we still won a national title. The culture was made by the head coach and the leaders on the team. The defensive coordinator, if he comes in and has a bad attitude and whatnot, that's going to get weeded out. Why? Because 95% of the culture is good. And one defensive coordinator is not going to come in and change that. Ryan Day will not allow that to happen. He managed the coach is not agreeing on things this year pretty well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. To have Jim Knowles and him not get along and the Larry Johnson and Jim Knowles things and all that and still keep your squad together enough to go win a national title, that's an A++. You did a good job. So I'm not worried about Matt P coming in, whether he's a culture fit. You don't think Ryan Day vetted the absolute crap out of him? You don't think that all the other defensive coaches vetted him and were in on the interviews and had a say in this? You don't think Larry Johnson said, yeah, I'm cool with it? He did, man. Like, Larry Johnson's been around the game long enough. He's been in this football game. He's not, that's the way it is. So long story short, I trust Ryan Day. The culture thing, I throw it out the window because he's not coming here to be a head coach. He's coming here to be a defensive coordinator.
Amen. That was a great breakdown, brother.
I feel like I talked for 20 minutes, dude. Was it that long?
Listen, it wasn't 20 minutes. Here's my thing with the people ranting on podcasts. I'm cool with rants, long rants, if you got substance. If you bring in bars and substance, keep on flowing. That was great. And you just completely dismantled a lot of the lazy thinking of some fans. Now, obviously, some of them is just haters. But to me, I'm really irritated more so with the Buckeye fans who are saying this. And it's just like, dude, if you say some of this stuff that you're like, if you basically slow down and step back and think about everything you're saying, you'll end up debunking yourself if you're honest. If you just like look at the facts and just look at common sense and logic, you'll be like, you know what, I'm tripping. But people love drama. They love to react and all this other stuff. And I think it was Ryan Day's championship beard, I like that update, who said in the chat, if he come here and kills, these same fans going to act like nothing nothing was ever negative or they never hated. That's what they did with CJ Stroud when he started balling. That's what they did with Nose, Chip Kelly. Because remember, Chip Kelly was washed up. UCLA, the Oregon days were long gone, and he's too soft. All he does is just run screens and, you know what I mean, all the other goofy crap. So, again, me, y'all, Dev, Mello, I speak for everybody. Buckeye Boys, Buckeye Scoop. We encourage high IQ football. I'm not saying everybody going to be John Gruden, John Madden, breaking down X's and O's. Like, you know, the point is just try to think beyond your emotions, please. It's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah, that's a big thing to hit on, emotions. I struggle with that too. When I'm watching a game and something happens, you know, somebody makes a bad play, my emotions want to say, dude, get him on the bench, right? But in truth, it's like, no way, bro, no way. But dude, also go back and think about this. I mean, you brought up something beautiful. How many takes have we heard on the internet with, actually, let me start with this. It's okay to have an opinion. Okay.
Sure.
We understand if you have opinions, but I would encourage you to, you know, do your research, look up on it. Don't just follow somebody else's opinion. Don't just think because somebody on a show said something that's what it is. Go do the research yourself, man. You know what I mean? Go look up for yourself. But, you know, Chip Kelly was washed. Quinshon Judkins was a cancer. You know, to the locker room. Jeremiah Smith's flipping to Miami. You know what I mean? Larry Johnson's retiring 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So we hear these things over and over again. When you're the most popular, you know, football team, college football team in the world, you're gonna have a lot of people that want to come in and poke and prod and jab. But overall, dude, I'm ecstatic about the hire. I love the hire. It's not only is it going to give Ryan Day the ability to step back, but it's going to give people like James Laurinaitis and Tim Walt and Matt G, those younger, more inexperienced coaches, it's going to give them a role model to look at. Brian Hartline did it with Chip Kelly this year, and that made Ryan Day trust him enough to hire him as the offensive coordinator. So some might ask, why was Matt G not hired? Well, check out this move, right? Ryan Day did not ask Matt P for a 2-year commitment. He did not, right? So Matt P can leave after this year. What helps, if we want Matt G, he's going to be way better off sitting behind Matt P, watching what he does with all his experience. It's just going to make him a better coach. So I love it for several different reasons. But that's one of them. So you got anything else to say about the Matt P hire? Do you know much about his scheme, what he likes to do, and anything? Can you speak about that for a minute on the style and how and what he does as a defensive coordinator?
So I didn't really dive as much into that as I did his ability to be flexible. So I think one of the main reasons why he was so attractive to Ryan Day, not only what you mentioned, Dev, about him and his experience and being able to trust him, you know, in that room to be the head coach of the defense, all of that stuff, is that, again, I would highly recommend go listen to the Julian Edelman podcast with Matt Patricia. Okay. He breaks it all the way down. He basically, in a nutshell, said, listen, we cater the defense according to our personnel. He mentioned Aqib Talib and how when he came into that room, how the defense changed completely because of his abilities. And so that just really got my brain firing, like, ooh, like CJ Hicks, you know, his skill set, you know, and different players that we have. He's very skilled of how to take the players he has, take that clay and mold it and employ it in a way that is, you know, going to get the best out of it. And so that's what I'm so excited about, because Jim Knowles was great. He did a great job, but he was a little more married to his scheme. And I think that was the friction over the years, and to finally things popped towards the end after that Oregon game when Day stepped in and said, yo, we need to make another adjustment, sir. And he did, and it worked. But Patricia will come in and already have the mindset of, okay, this is my roster. All right, bet. This is what we're going to do. But here's the thing I want to say. It's not going to be a complete difference from what we already have, you know, as far as the foundation of our scheme. He's not going to come in and make them learn a completely new defense. He's going to work with the foundation of it and basically work within that personnel to bring the best out of it. Watch y'all see. This is why I'm excited. Ryan Day hired him for his brilliant mind and his understanding. And here's the other thing, y'all. We have all off season to game plan for a darn good offensive coordinator in Steve Sarkisian. He's really good. Obviously, we just handled them, but he's smart. He has a really good quarterback starting next year, and they're going to come into the shoe wanting blood. And we're going to have a defensive guy that will have months to break down all what he does and come up with the best scheme possible.
Yeah, and they're going to have no idea what we're doing on defense. No idea.
Exactly.
So, yo, Donald and Karen Rossbrook, appreciate the $10. Dev, we both do that during the games. We have to talk each other off the lead. OH. 100%, man. I text very few people during the game because I know I get emotional and I like getting things off my chest. Donald is one of those people, man. We'd be going back and forth like, oh my God, that was a horrible play call. What is going on right now? But yeah, we end up calming down at the end. So love it, man. But on the topic of Matt Patricia and how he utilizes players, I want to dive into what we're going to have on defense next year. The players will go down, not all the players we have in each position group, but I'm just going to list some names and a few details about them so we can kind of see what we're working with next year, because I'm excited about, I want to say this, do you don't think Matt P looked at this roster and that had an impact on why he took this job? He 100% did, man. He looked at this roster. He saw the players we had, and he said, yeah, absolutely, man, sign me up. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. He's not going to take the chance on a roster that he doesn't see can succeed at the highest level. So I'm excited about that, but we're going to dive into some of the players we got on the roster and who we think is going to be starting. I'm going to start with cornerback. Obviously, we got Iggy. We got Lorenzo Styles Jr., we got Jermaine Matthews. We got Aaron Scott, who's 6 foot, 195 pounds. He was the third corner, the third ranked corner in his class. Bryce West, 5'11", 200 pounds. He was the 10th ranked corner in his class. And then we got Devin Sanchez coming in, 6'2", 190 corner out of Texas. He's the number 1 ranked cornerback. Think he's going to get on the field early. We got Jordan Woods. He's like the 6'3" corner we picked up late. And then Deshaun Stewart, which I think Deshaun Stewart could possibly move to safety. But let's start there, man. I think Iggy's going to remain a starter. And Jermaine Matthews, those are our 2 outside guys. The question is on nickel. If we go based off of this year, it's going to be Lorenzo Styles Jr. He was the backup. If I'm being honest, right? If I'm being honest, now this just comes from a take of I'm not some football genius and whatnot, but I would question whether Lorenzo Styles Jr. is going to be our starting nickel next year because of the talent that we have in that room. That's the one position I would question on whether he's going to start or not. He did a lot of good things this year, but I don't know. So I'm going to get your thoughts on that, man. How do you think we are at corner? Who do you think our starters are going to be and how much depth do you think we got?
Yeah. So Jermaine and Iggy, obviously, Iggy is a funny animal, man, because we all know his deficiencies. He's grabby, he's handsy, and all that other stuff, but he's physical as all get out. He will come up and smack you. He has made some good plays. He just has to continue to improve with not being so handsy and interfering. If he can improve that even just some, I think we'll be extra good. And then, of course, Jermaine Matthews has shown that he's a dog. I mean, he's physical. He can cover. I mean, he hasn't been perfect. No corner is, but I feel very good about those 2 coming in. The question for me, I like our depth on paper. I mean, Aaron Scott and Bryce West, that was 2 highly ranked corners from Ohio that I'm excited about. And both of them popped, showed flashes. So I'm kind of up in the air on who's going to be that third corner, just like Jermaine Matthews was the third corner.
Yeah.
Not the nickel, but the third corner, outside corner. Yeah. And I'm leaning slightly more towards Aaron Scott. He seemed to get more tick early on. He's a little longer. A little bigger. And with Sanchez, I think he's going to definitely get playing time. But I think Aaron Scott will probably be that next man up as a third guy. Now, to your point about the nickel, this is where it gets tricky to me, because that nickel position is kind of interchangeable in the sense that you can potentially pluck a guy from another position group. Like, who, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this might kind of go with this topic is Jermaine. Let me pull up the roster. Number 18. What's his name?
McClain. Jalen McClain.
Jalen McClain.
Yeah.
He popped last year, y'all.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all noticed, when number 18 was in the game, he was fast, physical. He triggered. I mean, he was making plays. So does he have enough coverage skills to play the nickel potentially? And again, with the nickel position, you're obviously lined up against the slot majority of the time, which brings you a little closer to the line of scrimmage, which I like for his skill set because he's fast and physical and he can come up and help the run. Can he cover? That's the question. With that said, I think Lorenzo Styles is the leader right now in that position because he wasn't trash. He was cool. He was solid. He'll have to improve, but he has the most experience there. So I think he's the leader in the clubhouse with maybe some guys nipping at his heels.
Yeah, I love what you said, man. I think Aaron Scott, Bryce West is one of those players that's being talked about in the Woody right now because of his versatility. Yeah. They are not quite sure where he's going to play on the field, outside, nickel, or safety. Like they're talking about he's a little bit more put together than an Aaron Scott is, and they're pretty excited about Bryce West as well. But I would agree, I think, as far as learning the scheme in that playbook, Aaron Scott has that jump over Devin Sanchez, but Devin Sanchez, he's being talked about now. Like, yeah, dude, he's coming hot and heavy, and there's a lot of safeties as well, because that's the thing, man. When you talk about plucking from different positions group, that nickel spot, a safety can be plugged in there depending on the coverage ability and different things like that. So I'm going to go over the list of safeties as well, but I was going to do this after we talked about this, but I'm going to do this while we're talking. Do you think we need to go in the portal and pick up another corner?
You literally just read my mind, because I was thinking to myself, like, do I want to mention the portal when we talk about the safeties, or do I want to tiptoe around it and wait for the next segment? But this makes perfect sense. Now, you said another corner, right? Did you mean safety?
Another? Nope, because we just went over the corners.
Right.
That we have. So do you think we need another corner?
Oh, okay. So now I'm about a general question. Okay. Yeah. It's not that you're saying or implying that we do. You're just asking because it's a position group.
I'm asking you. And then once we talk about the safeties at the end, I'll ask you, hey, do you think we need a safety?
Yeah. No, I don't think we need another corner. I trust these young guys to step in with OG Walt and the coaching and the scheme. And I think we're good on corner as far as the portal goes.
I agree. I've heard a couple people mention that they want a corner. I don't think so at all, man. When you got players like Devin Sanchez coming in, I think we're good, man. And Aaron Scott and Bryce West, and I think we're good on that. Sean Rollins, thank you so much for the $20, man. Two of the best. Thanks for having B. Moses on the show. God bless you both. God bless you, Sean. God bless everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate that, brother. All right, here we go. On the safeties, it's kind of hard to sometimes put these guys in because some of them were listed as corners, and I know they were recruited as safeties, but safeties, you got Downs, Hartford, Keenan Nelson Jr., the transfer from South Carolina, Jalen McClain, the freshman got on the field this year, Leroy Roker, who we heard a lot about, Fahim Delane, the new he was the number 3 safety in the class, 6'3", 210, number 55 player overall. He's 2025 class coming in. You got Miles Lockhart. He was talked about a bunch too, not highly rated. Him and Leroy Roker weren't highly rated, but they're talked about quite a bit. And then Deshaun Stewart and Cody Haddad are coming in as well. But Downs, he's on the field. That next one, man, a lot of people are putting Hartsford in there because we know that not last year, but the year before he got some playing time, but Jalen McClain jumped him this year, man. Now, I heard that he was injured, and that's why. That's what I heard, but who knows, man? So that's an interesting take. I personally, I like our depth at safety, but it's just a lot of unknowns there at safety. And I hear a lot of people talking about we need a safety in the portal with experience, and I could get on board with that. But where are you at with our safeties?
Yeah, I'm a little up in the air about it, man, to be honest, because I mean, I'm looking at this roster. Yes, I see Malik Hartford, which I didn't realize was 6'3", 194. I thought he was more like a 6'1", which is good. But I'll be honest with y'all. I'm a little spoiled after having Ransom and freaking Caleb Downs as your tandem. Dude. Oh my Lord, sweet Jesus! Listen, I've been watching Buckeye football since I've been in diapers, and we've had some outstanding safeties, but I don't know if we've had a safety duo like this ever. I'm willing to debate, but my point is that it's hard to go from that to looking at our roster and just being cool with some unknowns. Now, again, you know, some of these guys were highly recruited. Some of them are highly thought of. They're going to have to step in, but it's just I need to see it. So to me, I wouldn't mind poking around in the portal if the right guy shows up. Obviously, you don't want to force just bring a guy in just to bring a guy in. We don't need a guy. We need a starter if we go to the portal, like a stud. So if that's the case, I'm open to it, but I'm going to lean Malik Hartford will probably end up starting, or even good Lord, I keep struggling with number 18.
Jalen McClain.
I keep wanting to call him Jermaine Matthews for some reason. Jalen McClain. Again, will he be able to play safety, like deep safety at times? Can he cover? Because he can surely fly around sideline to sideline and hit, but can he cover? And so I think one of those two guys will probably be my pick for the other starting safety spot if we don't go to the portal.
Yeah. If we don't pick up a safety in the portal, I am not tripping. I'm not worried about it at all. But I agree. If there's a stud in there that wants to come play, well, that's pretty much in any position group. Ryan Day is going to take him. He proved that. He showed that with Aaron Nolan and Julian Sayin and several different position groups. But so Leroy Roker was talked about a bunch when he was recruited and during the workouts, and so was Miles Lockhart. Both of those. They were freshmen last year. They were talked about big time, but I think Downs, Hartford, and McClain are the ones in on it. The transfer, Keenan Nelson Jr. got talked about quite a bit when he was recruited, but not really talked about in the workouts. Never really heard his name. But the one that I am pretty darn excited about, who I was obsessed with in the recruiting process, he was like my top 3 must-gets, is Fahim Delane. Oh, yeah. I don't think people really realize.
He's a dog.
Yeah, dude, the skill that this guy has. He can cover, and he is a menace on the closer to the line of scrimmage. An absolute menace, man. So we covered that. Here we go. Linebacker. This is another good one, man. And I hear a lot of people say that we're going to take a big hit on our defense. We got spoiled. We watched one of the best defenses in college football last year, and we did. But I'm not on that train of saying we're going to take a big hit. I'm just not. Now, I can see, hey, if we're not going to be as good, I can follow you there because we just had some absolute, studs. Watch the draft. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I think we have the skill level to play pretty darn close to as elite as we were, but don't get your hopes up too much. But linebacker, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Garrett Stover, Peyton Pierce, Riley Pettijohn, Charvos Alfred, Eli Lee, and Ty Hayward was the transfer that we got in the portal, man. Obviously, man, it's Sonny and Reese. They're the starters. That's not a question. In my mind, there's nobody going to fight for that starting position. Haven't heard much about Garrett Stover. He's been talked about switching over to safety because of his size. James Laurinaitis is obsessed with Peyton Pierce. Yes. Peyton Pierce is the reason that Gabe Powers transferred, because Peyton Pierce surpassed Gabe Powers on the depth chart this year. So if I had to guess who that third linebacker coming off the bench was, I'd put my money on Peyton Pierce. But I know it's hard to gauge excitement levels on freshmen coming in out of class because you just got high school film. But Riley Pettijohn is no joke. He's got the build and the physical attributes to step on the field as a freshman linebacker, in my opinion. We'll see how he handles the pressure at playing at Ohio State and learning the scheme and different things like that. And Tarvos Alford as well is near that same level of just eliteness. So that's where I'm at as far as linebackers go. You really only you don't have any experience depth behind Styles and Reese, which is why I would almost put linebacker, let's go get an experienced linebacker above getting a safety in the portal. And it's just experience. I think we got the young guys that could, but zero experience. B. Moses, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. And just as some context for the whole portal thing, to kind of add a little more insight, Ryan Day in a recent interview was very clear that they're going to hit the portal in the spring. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean they're just going to bring guys in to bring them in, but they're going to be very active in the portal because, again, the calendar was pushed back because they were on a championship run. So they really couldn't dig into the portal the first time around and all that. So they're going to be active in the portal. So with that said, I agree. I think I'm more comfortable with our safety room than our linebacker room. Now, with that said, I'm curious. This is just me thinking here. Is Matt Patricia going to come in and say, hey, James, how you feel about Sonny Styles moving to Mike? Because of his experience, because he actually moved to Mike temporarily. Remember, y'all, in the season when Cody Simon was injured, he played Mike. He had the headset on the helmet. Remember that? Yeah. So he has some experience. And so to me, I could totally see Sonny Styles as that Mike player because Arvell Reese is an outstanding sideline and sideline outside linebacker. And I'm not saying Reese would have played Mike, but the point is that I think there might be something to that. We'll see. But you're right. The depth behind them, too, is obviously not great. Peyton Pierce has been praised a lot. He seems like he's a guy that they really, really like. But again, lack of experience. So, yes, bringing another guy in that room with experience, I think would be huge for real. Would they start? Because my thing is, are they going to take the spot over Reese or Sonny Styles? I don't know. That's the tough part.
Yeah.
Because we don't do three linebackers typically, unless we're playing against Wisconsin or somebody. Yeah. So interesting thought.
Yeah. It is, man, to think about what they're going to do there because you want an experienced, good linebacker, but to get one of those in the portal, if they're entering the portal, they're coming to start. You know what I'm saying? So It's different. But I agree. I'm not necessarily saying we need a starter. I'm just thinking we need a good, experienced leader in the linebacker room that just can speak and play on his experience. And Peyton Pierce and Riley Pettijohn and stuff and Tarvos Alford he can just be another leader in that group, essentially. So we're going to hit D-line next. So we went through corners. We're good there. We went through safeties. If one pops up, we need him. We went through linebackers. We're thinking I'm putting linebacker as my number 3 need in the portal, right? So you guys could probably guess my number 1 and 2 because there are only 2 position groups left. But defensive line, Will Smith Jr., 6'4", 290 pounds. Dominic Kurtz was recruited as a defensive end. So we'll see where he plays, but he's 6'4", 255. I think he's going to be a defensive end because of depth there. But Eric Mensah, 6'3", 300 pounds. Jason Moore, he was the number 10 defensive line in his recruiting class. Not that that means much realistically, but 6'6", 310. Larry Johnson has said some pretty powerful words in regards to Jason Moore. Tywan Malone, we know him, won a national title in baseball at Ole Miss, came over here, 6'4", 305. We had his mom on this show. They are Buckeyes through and through, and they got big aspirations for Tywone Malone this year. Edric Houston, 6'3", 280. We all know about him. K-Mac, baby. He's listed at 6'3", but the dude's 6'1", maybe. 326 pounds. That's the funny one. When I saw 6'3", I was like, I've seen him in person, dude. He's eye level with me. I'm 6 foot tall, so no way. The new ones, Jarquez Carter, 6'2", 295. Maxwell Roy, 6'3", 295. Trajan Odom, 6'4", 295. So there we are with that. I think we know our starters. K-Mac, Edric Houston. We saw that play out this year. Jason Moore, Larry Johnson has said that Jason Moore is the perfect defensive lineman. I think he said 3-tech. I can't remember. I'm not good on the terminology.
Yeah, that makes
I'm not good on the terminology in the defensive line yet. But literally, he said Jason Moore has the perfect body for a 3-tech. Now, you might be wondering, we really didn't see him on the field this year. Well, look at the skilled players that were ahead of him. Right. So you can't say Jason Moore sucked. You could just say, well, we had 4 superstars that K-Mac, Edric Houston, Ty Hamilton, and Tyleik Williams were the players ahead of him. So would you take a player that's a little bit behind them? Yeah, any college team in the nation would. Hint, Texas took Hero Kanu from us, and he's going to start over there. So Tywone Malone, excited about him too, but I think it's K-Mac and Edric Houston's show. I like our depth. A lot of people don't because of experience. Again, kind of along the lines of the linebacker room. So I think we need to go in the portal, and I think Ryan Day and the coaching staff are going to sniff pretty hard for a big-time interior defensive lineman. That's just my opinion. B. Moses.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely portal. This is the number one for me on the defense that we need to hit the portal for.
The interior, really?
I'm sorry. I was talking about D-line in general. I was thinking about the D. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was these are defensive ends. This is just tackles.
Yeah, these are just tackles.
Yeah, but yes, a big plugger behind. And just to get back to Jason Moore, he's the first guy off the bus type guy.
Yeah,
that's a big solid.
Yeah, bro.
Like all airport, as they used to say. He looks impressive. So no, I agree. I think Jason Moore. This is his shot to really step up and make some noise, man. But I do like our starters a lot. I love K-Mac. That boy, when he came in, y'all know he was in on that goal line stand. Well, he was in on several goal line stands this year, but
the Penn State one was him. He did that. That was him.
Yes, he was in there versus Texas. And that's why I'm like, yes, we're losing a lot on defense, but experience like that is invaluable. Invaluable. So, yes, I like our starters, but I wouldn't mind picking up another experienced plugger because, Tywone Malone is athletic. He's been around for a while. I'm looking for him to step up, but it's kind of unknown there. Is he ready to go? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think we could use one more defensive tackle with experience that, in my opinion, not more so another 3-tech, but another plugger who can stop the run. I think we need depth for that specifically more so. We need another 1-tech experienced than more so than a 3-tech, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, my biggest reason for D-line being my number 2 need or D tackle is because I want 4 that we can just rotate in throughout the game and not have a big drop off. You know what I'm saying? I don't want our D tackles playing 50 snaps a game, man.
Yeah.
That's what Tyleik Williams was doing in the big games, man. We can't do that to these guys, man. You want to keep them fresh, and with the new playoffs, you think of that. You think of a big old 300-pound dude. You want to, 30 snaps, 35 snaps, get him off the field, man, right? He's got to play a lot of games. So that's my main reason there. Linebacker, you don't really need to have like 5 ready to go linebackers. You need 5 D tackles that can play football. that you can trust to put in the game.
True.
In my opinion.
I agree.
All right, here we go. Defensive end. This is the one that was real interesting with me. Oh, wait, before I get to that, B-Mose, did you know that, just on a side note, that Hero Canoe, you know why he transferred? Because of Jim Knowles?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat, and that was just revealed to me just now looking at the chat. I didn't know that.
I believe I told the chat this. I talked to somebody, and they know, like, one of Hero's really good friends. So it's like a third-person information, but Hero, when Jim Knowles left, he stated, dang, man, if I'd have known he was leaving, I would not have left. I sit in the classroom at Texas regretting my decision now.
Wow.
That's what he said. So you don't think you worry about Matt P going in. There was some issues with Jim Knowles. Dude was a genius, but there were some issues. Anyway, moving on to a defensive end. This name might surprise some people, but this is a done deal. It's over with. It's happening. There's no more debate or questions about it. CJ Hicks, 6'3", 240 pounds. Right. He is now a defensive end. That is his position. Josh Mickens was the number 40 overall recruit in his class. We saw him one time this year, and he got a sack when he was in, I do believe, 6'3", 240.
Yep.
Dominic Kirks, I already said him in the D-tackle thing, but, he's putting on some pounds. Caden Curry, 6'3", 260. We know him. Kenyatta Jackson, 6'6", 260. We know him. The new one, Zion Grady, 6'4", 235. He had 22 sacks his senior year. So he won like defensive lineman of the year in Alabama or some crazy award. Epi Centinelli, we've had him on this show several times. An absolutely amazing young kid. He's gonna be phenomenal. And Logan George, 6'5", 260, the transfer out of the FCS. Big time in the run game, big time run stopper. Yeah. He's got a good nose for the ball. It's Curry and Jackson's show this year. They're the starters. Logan George is the only other one to come in with a lot of experience on defensive end. And then you got CJ Hicks and Josh Mickens, and then you got some freshmen. Some people are thinking Zion Grady is going to make an impact this year. I'm not there. I think the dude's got some muscle to put on, but this is my number one group in the portal. I don't think it's really optional. I think it's a must because kind of the same with defensive tackle. You need four. You need four that can come in out the game, maybe five. You just got to have it, man. You know, Caden Curry or Kenyatta Jackson go down. Well, you know what I'm saying? You need five, man. So I think this is not optional. I think we are hitting the portal for a defensive ends hard.
I agree. I don't think this is a debate at all, really. And I wonder, and listen, I know you got the whole tampering thing and all. First of all, look, Ryan Day has been complaining about the lack of policing with the rules because he's like, hey, coaches are just wondering, like, hey, what's these coaches over here doing this and what's the rules? With that said, I'm wondering if there's some conversations or some rumblings behind the scenes of some kids who know about Ohio State's roster and what their needs are that are kind of anticipating the portal opening up. Because, I think, listen, again, Kenyatta Jackson, shout out to Pops, Kenyatta Jackson Sr., staple here with the Buckeye Boys, great guy. Miss your brother. It's been a minute since we've been on the pod together. We expect Kenyatta to step up and do his thing this year. And Caden. But yes, we have to have more depth at DN. Not just for depth as far as, rotating, but just injuries. I mean, knock on wood, but it's football. With 16, 17 games, yes, we absolutely need a guy. I do like to pick up the FCS kid because he can stop the run. He can set the edge. I mean, he's not coming here for sacks. He's coming here to be physical and stop the run. Yeah. And so, some people kind of poo-pooed that, but if you go watch his film and see what he consistently does, that was a good pickup. So anyway, because you need that. You need that. But anyway, But yes, I'm low key excited to see who pops out in the portal because again, I truly believe in today's game, these other kids in these other schools with agents, they're looking at rosters, y'all, and
Oh,
people
yeah.
are talking. And until they get a better police system for what tampering really is, now some people are just completely like way too far, blatant, nah, dog, you tripping, tampering. But I'm saying it's one thing to have an agent like, look, Ohio State, look who they just lost. Look who they got on the roster right now. How you feeling about this portal? That's a different thing. And I really believe that's already happening. And then we going to see, man, who we pick up, man. And Ryan Day has put it out there publicly. He said we're going to be active. You know what I'm saying? He's been all over the talk shows and everything. So I can't wait to see this portal, man, and who we pick up, man. I think we might get a dog, Dev.
Yeah. Dude, if you think about the tampering thing, it's next to impossible to prevent that because of agents and coaches and you know who you know. I mean,
right.
The number one people that know every team's roster in the nation and needs are agents.
Right.
I promise you, dude, these hungry money agents who represent kids or a good defensive end has called and said, yo, Ohio State is looking for a D end. Can I tell them you're interested? I promise you that's happening.
Yeah.
That's one of my number one feelers I have right now to people I know. I'm like, hey, dude, give me a name, man. I know there's a couple names, dude. I know there is, but ain't heard nothing yet. But yeah, that's kind of wild. I don't know how they would ever police that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do? Too many people know people. And with the agent thing, like, I just don't know how you would do it. I think the cat's out the bag, honestly.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and think about this, though, just to add on to that. These players talk. I know some of our fans be surprised. Like, when they after the game, they go up and dapping other team up. Like, a lot of these players know players all over the country. They played in 7-on-7 with them. They went to recruiting visit. I mean, like, it's a text away, one text. I mean, shoot, even with Quinshot Judkins, with him reaching out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, I'm low-key excited because I think this DN position is the obvious number one need. Come on.
Yep.
It is. Yep. And so everybody knows it. We can act like it's not the elephant in the room. And so I'm excited to see who we pick up, man. For real.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, speaking of players, no players, and talk to, you think it's funny that we played Texas in the Cotton Bowl and one game later, Hero Canoe plays for Texas, dude?
Crazy, man. See?
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
that's the world we live in. I mean, we just have to have, I know some people still are having a hard time adjusting, but Ohio State has been just fine. We've had our share. We've taken, honestly, I feel like what we've lost is not even compared to what we've gained in the portal over the years. Not even close. I think we've done extremely well considering.
Oh, yeah, dude. Wait, when have we lost a starter? And we've gained how many? Caleb Downs, Seth McLaughlin, Will Howard. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the only starter I can think of off the top of the head is Kyle McCord. Right?
Yeah. I guess you could consider him a starter, but I don't think, that's the reason he didn't stay, because Dave said, no, you're not the starter.
Right. Exactly. No, I get you.
But I see what you're saying, though.
Right. Yeah. And we clearly upgraded with that. Dummies who said he was Kyle McCord 2.0 talking about Will Howard. You're a moron.
Yeah. Mike Green, thanks for the $4.99, man. B Mo, Ohio in a 3-4 blows his mind. But I think Matt will act a donkey with creativity, trying to get his name refreshed to the NFL. What's
up, Mike? This is my dude, man. He always shows up on the podcast on Sundays.
Every time you're on here, he super chats like crazy, dude.
Yeah, man. That's my guy, man. I appreciate you. Listen, man, look. We are not going to be a 3-4 team. I'm telling y'all right now,
no.
Ohio State will not be a 3-4 team. What you're going to see is the occasional odd front. You're going to see a lot of pre-snap eye candy where guys are going to be lined up a little wonky, and then we're going to drop into something else, but we're going to stick with our base 4 down linemen. That's going to still be our bread and butter, and we're going to be a little exotic at times and mix up the fronts. That's what Patricia's going to do. We're not going to be a 3-4.
Yeah. I'm going to make a prediction. And I know everybody has said this same prediction for quite some time, but I never have. So this is my first time. I think with Matt P coming in, I think the biggest player that's going to surprise us the most on defense and going to make huge impacts is CJ Hicks. I think CJ Hicks, they're going to find him a spot on the field, and he's going to do some damage this year. But we'll see, man. That's the other thing. Jim Knowles left because Ryan Day won't allow us to be a 3-4 team. So he's not going to hire Matt P to come in and be a 3-4 team, But just like B. Moses said,
right,
it's creativity. Matt P's going to look at our roster. I said this yesterday. I think he's going to look at our roster, see the strength of our players, and that's the defensive scheme we're going to run first. Then second, who are we playing? He's not going to be a who are we playing and what do we need to run on defense? He's a who do we have and what do we need to run on defense? Then who are we playing and what do we need to run, if that makes sense. And I love that about him overall.
Yes, I agree. And one you brought up CJ Hicks. Listen, CJ Hicks has definitely been one of those guys since he's been here that you just like, okay, is he a bust? Is he being underutilized? What is he? Right? Because we've seen flashes, but we've also seen some goofs where we see like, man, he's thinking too much. He's not triggering, but then we see him come off the edge a few times and he's like, a cannon. So I was thinking about, and I'm going to expose my age here. Some of y'all young whippersnappers out here won't get this, but a young outside linebacker hybrid defensive end named Thaddeus Gibson. Do y'all remember a player named Thaddeus Gibson? Anybody?
I know the name.
Anybody in the chat?
That's it, though.
That's a throwback name, right? He was number 90. The reason why I'm bringing him up is because he was recruited as an outside linebacker. He was a little undersized for a DN, but he was ferocious off the edge. And he reminds me of CJ Hicks and what he could potentially do. Did my camera just go off? I think my battery
froze it. Look at that face, dude. That's serious, bro.
Like
y'all better listen, dude.
Screenshot that. I'm gonna change my battery real quick. That's funny. But y'all can hear me. Anyway, Thaddeus Gibson, he came in as an outside linebacker, but he eventually moved to DN. They would move him around and bring him off the edge, and he was a little werewolf. He wasn't tiny, but I think he was comparable to CJ Hicks' size. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering with Matt P, how he's going to use him and how he's going to unleash him, because I think CJ Hicks has the opportunity to be a guy who comes in late in his career and just be like, where was this at? You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited for CJ Hicks because he could have transferred. CJ Hicks could have left and been like, a starter somewhere else just off of his athleticism alone.
Yep.
So, yeah.
You know what's crazy is there was a time about a year ago where there was a serious conversation about CJ Hicks and why he hasn't seen the field. And a lot of people were putting it on the coaches, saying that, well, maybe we don't have the coaches on the staff to develop him, because if you have a talent like that, it's the coach's job to get him prepared to be on the field. I found that very interesting because I think James Laurinaitis has proven that in fact is not the case. He can develop and he can get people ready to play. What he did with Sonny Styles this year is very, very underrated. I don't think people quite understand the dude went from safety to linebacker and played the way he played. That's why we saw such a rough transition in my eyes in the beginning of the year. It wasn't that rough. He was never horrible.
Yeah.
But he wasn't very good from time to time. And look at what he did in the playoffs. So James Laurinaitis can coach, and CJ Hicks transition the defensive end started in the middle of the season. It started right around the time where Austin Ward put that clip out that said, what CJ Hicks said what he said. Play me at DN then, something like that. But that's about the time. So CJ Hicks has been ready for this, and you brought up a good point. He didn't transfer. Why didn't he transfer? Because he believes in the plan that the coaching staff has for him, and he trusts them. So he's ready for it, man. I mean, and they're getting him ready in the Woody, and they're already talking about how excited they are, for him to be in that position. And I am too. So it's I'm pumped for the defense, man. When I went through the list of stuff, there's a few areas we got to go into the portal, but I think we bringing in the number 1 freshman class in the nation. I know we're not rated that according to the experts at On3 and 247.
Experts.
But the experts, it is well known that I despise On3. I think they are just such clowns. I've said it over and over again, and I'll keep saying it. Steve Wilfong and you guys get your stuff together, guys. You got to go some different direction anyway. But yeah, that's it, man. I'm excited. I trust Ryan Day, the coaching decisions that he's made. Here's your boy again, Mike Green. $4.99. Yeah. Thanks, brother. He said, listen, we wasted Baron Browning. Ryan won't make the same mistake with CJ. But that gets brought up. I can't believe we didn't bring that up. CJ Hicks and Baron Browning. That's it gets brought up all the time.
That's why Mike Green is the man.
Yeah. My dude. But excited for the future of Ohio State football, man. Be prepared. When you're a successful program, you will lose coaches. So in a way, it's a good sign if your coaches are being taken to better opportunities. -1 this year, the Jim Knowles one, which we all know why that happened. But excited for Ryan Day and the new coaches and Brian Hartline to be in there calling plays and the boost we're getting in recruiting. And I'm about to do a show on Tyler Bowen as well and what he's doing in recruiting already. And I'm telling you, Buckeye Nation, get excited. I got 2 pages written out of info on what Tyler Bowen has done already for offensive line recruiting at Ohio State. So get excited about that. B. Moses, you got any final words, final thoughts? What you got to close it?
Yeah, man. I'm still riding high off this championship, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm still celebrating. I'm still buzzing. I'm still happy. I'm looking forward to 2025. Yes, conventional wisdom says, there's going to be a drop off, but we are the Ohio State Buckeyes. We got talent. We got great coaches. So I'm expecting to be in the playoffs again. I'm expecting to compete for a Big Ten title. I'm expecting, to beat the team up north in the Big Blouse. I'm expecting all of that. And so I'm excited. I'm pumped to see these young guys step in. And listen, with the offseason, there's still so much to talk about, man. Like, this is a blessing, ain't it? To be here, chopping it up with y'all, popping, and talking Buckeye football in the dead of the winter here in February. It's beautiful.
It's winter. I don't know.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You Florida cats, man. You make me sick to my stomach. But
bro, come on down for that yacht party, bro. Come on down, man.
Hey, listen, you know what I was thinking? On that note, I was thinking, you know what? What if I flew down there and just shot one of the scenes on the yacht and still had other scenes here in Columbus? Because
bro.
One thing, I don't know if y'all heard of the Library Bar. My dumb butt never heard of it. At least I think. Anyway, it's off of Lane Avenue, and it's one of the best, bars according to the students there. But they have a lot of celebrities and performers there. If you go online and look at their setup on Instagram, it's fire. I mean, beautiful. So anyway, that's one of the places I talked to the owner we're going to be shooting at. So how dope would that be to have a yacht scene, the Library Bar scene in front of the stadium? Ooh, you got me thinking.
Look, here's another Florida Buckeye, man. Donald, dude, he would be there too, bro. I'm telling you, that's a serious offer. You want to do it, bro? You just get your plane ticket, you crash at my house, dude. We'll set it up. We'll drive to St. George Island about an hour away, get on a yacht. The water's clear and perfect, and we can take a couple shots of us jumping in, maybe catching a shark, bringing it on, spraying a Michigan M on it, and who knows, bro.
Only thing is, I would have to play on a 2-day road trip. I'm not flying nowhere right now with all these planes crashing. But anyway,
yeah.
But anyway, I'm definitely going to think about this. I'm at least think about it.
Yeah,
so
it's a real offer, man. So let me know, dude.
I appreciate
But
that.
yeah, Buckeye Nation, we appreciate the heck out of you, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this on your Twitter if you could, please, and Facebook and Instagram and all that. Dude, that does wonders for us. You guys are doing a great job doing that. Our subscriptions are flying off the charts. Our views are flying off the charts. And it's because of you guys. We appreciate the support a lot. So stay tuned for tomorrow. Got another good show planned for you. Got a couple more guests coming on here before too long. We got Mika and the Friday recruiting show. I think that's bi-weekly, so stay tuned for that. But we got some good stuff coming on for you. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. On that note, go Buckeyes. OH.
One last thing. You know what time it is on all streaming services, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. You know what time it is. B.MOSES. Go save it to your playlist. Go Bucks.
Do it right now. Do it right now and share it on your Twitter right now, or you won't do it. As you hear in my voice, look it up. Uh-oh. Here's your dude again, bro.
He slid one last one.
Yeah, he did.
Saturday night. Bro, it's crazy. Are you here in Columbus? It's 9 degrees. It's cold, y'all. It's crazy, man.
Dang, guys. I'm sorry, man. My parents live in Ohio. And I was literally just camping this weekend. And, like, the tent, I was so hot in my tent all night long. But anyway.
Bruh, it's sorry here right now. But it's all good. 614 boys.
B Moses, let me holler at you real fast when we end this. Peace, people.
Cool. Yep.